Welcome to Homesteading the Pioneer Way. Well, this is the sugar cones that I made the other day. I just made 2 of them. And someone has inquired about how I made them. I usually tell you how I make things when I film it the first time, but I guess I forgot. I was just telling you about, not really the history, but that this is the way they have been used and bought and shipped for centuries, until they started in the 1900s just scooping sugar out and selling it by the pound. These are hard as a rock. They're hard as a rock. And so someone asked if I could explain how I did it. And you put, you buy sugar and you put it in a bowl, ever how much you want to use, and you put it in a bowl. Now, I did enough to make 2 of these, and I can't really tell you how much I put in there, probably 3 or 4 cups. And then I added just a little bit of water, just probably a tablespoon. You might do a teaspoon and then add some, if you need it. It takes very little water, and you just want to stir it around till it looks like wet sand. It will be dry. It will not be real wet at all. Just kind of like damp sand. And then you take a wine glass, and you just fill it to the top. Let it sit a few minutes. Put a plate over it, turn it upside down, give it a pop, and it will just pop out like that. And then you have to let it sit. I covered it in just covered it like that, and let it sit for 2 or 3 days. The longer it sits, the harder it will get. And like I said, they have sugar nippers. It kind of looks like a tool, and you just nip it off. Or what I don't have a sugar nipper, and what I'll probably do is get a rasp or a grater and just grate off what I need. But anyway, that's the way they stored it for, like I said, a long, several centuries. And when you go to Pioneer Reenactments, this is still how they sell it. So, and then they just get a paper. I had to get a prescription the other day, so I've got this prescription bag, this brown paper. And I will just take the seam right here, open it from the seam, and just wrap it and put wax, seal it with wax on the bottom. So that is how you make a sugar cone. And of course, the bigger the wine stem, the bigger the cone. If you got a bigger, round wine glass, and maybe a deeper wine glass, it would be a lot bigger. So that's the way I make my sugar cones. And it's just in keeping with the pioneer lifestyle. So if you want to make one, that's the way you make it. They're real simple. And that will preserve it. I mean, if sugar gets in a damp place, it's going to automatically turn, because it will draw moisture from the air and turn hard as a rock in your canister. And that's all we're doing. We're just controlling it. We put sugar in a bowl, and we put just a tad of water and mix it up till it looks like it'll still look almost dry, but it'll hold together. And fill it in a glass. So that's my sugar cone. I wish I could do demonstrations. Maybe one day I'll get a phone or my husband bought me one of those little tripod things to go on my phone one time, but it didn't really work. My daughter also got me one of these phones with a case that had a like kickstand thing on it. It didn't work. I mean, it would not set up high enough to show anything. So, and I've tried to do, when I first started about 5 years ago, I tried to do some cooking things just with my laptop. Now, that was hands-free, but the voice was not very loud, and I am not a very loud person. I have to get real close to the phone when I'm talking. And so I did do a few things like that, but then, like I said, it wasn't loud enough in some cases. So, and you can't control that. The farther you are away from the laptop, of course, the lower your voice would be. So maybe one day I'll get a decent camera and an actual tripod that I can set up and do stuff. Again, I'm over here at my daughter's. I'm packing up, and we've been packing up for a long time, and every time I seem to need something, it's packed up. So I come over to my daughter's. Now she's got grandkids that eats all these plastic plates. I despise plastic, anything. And it's kind of warped because they put them in the microwave. And so it didn't set up. I mean, you can see it's not really great. But anyway. The sugar didn't set exactly on the plate right. So it's a little crumbly here at the bottom, but it'll be okay. And I might need to let it set a little longer. Like I said, the longer it sets, the harder it's going to be. But anyway, that's the way they preserved sugar. They sold sugar. They traded sugar. Sugar at one time, as well as salt and other things, was used as currency. Things that was hard to get was bartered. And that's what I'm doing. I am doing some sugar cones, and I'm going to have them in my little store if I ever get my secret garden place like I want it. I will have a little store and sell all kind of homesteading things. Like the salves I make, the medicines I make with the herbs themselves. I make soaps of all kind. I make soaps for hunters. Which mask the smell of the human, so that the deer or whatever they're hunting don't smell the human. I make soap for acne, people who have acne, and I started doing that when my granddaughter was a teenager. She said, "Grandmama, I've got a pimple on my face. Can you help?" And so I made a soap that was good for acne. And I've got itch cream that will even take care of all kind of itches, poison oak, poison ivy, just any kind of rashes and itchy skin. I've got one called The Younger You. It's got all kind of essential oils and things in it that helps with wrinkles and makes you just, the wrinkles just kind of diminish over time, so you look younger. And just all kind of soaps. I can't even think off the top of my head. Insect repellent soaps, all kind of things. But anyway, I will be selling my soaps, and I'll be selling all crafts. I have crocheted. I'm crocheting a collar right now to go over a dress. A lot of the dresses in pioneer times did not have collars, and then they would make these crocheted collars. I've got a tan one, a beige one, a white one, a cream one. So just about any time you wanted to dress up a dress, like for every day, you wouldn't want to wear a collar. But if you was going to go to church or going to tea at somebody's house or coffee or going visiting or something, you might just put a collar on. And so I'm crocheting a collar right now, and I will have things like that for sale. I've made gloves and purses and things of that nature. So one of my little cabins will be a little, actually, I do all kind of crafts. I do stained glass. I do faux finishes, like I have done staircases. I've done 2 staircases that look like marble. One in a green and a little black and white, and then the other in just a black and white. And I've done fireplaces, and I can make things look, whether it's metal, I can take a metal file cabinet or any metal thing and make it look like wood with wood grain. I could even put pine knots in it. I can make things look like tortoise shell, just, different faux finishes. And I live in Mississippi, and I actually went to Arkansas one time and did just a shelf for somebody's bathroom. I went and spent the night, stayed with them that day and spent the night, and came home the next day. It was a real nice trip. And she just had a little, probably 2-foot piece of wood on brackets that she wanted me to marbleize. And I went all the way to Arkansas to marbleize a little shelf for her bathroom. I've done staircases and I think I said that, in bookcase and fireplaces. I've done a couple fireplaces, 2 or 3 for myself, and I've done some for other people. And he had a fire. One of the gentlemen had a fire in his fireplace, and it smoked up my work. And he called me and said, "Can you come fix it?" So I had to go fix that fireplace where it had gotten damaged. So I may have some, crafts like that. And I do all kind of flower arranging, you name it, just about. I either have done it or can do it. And sometimes you just don't have time to do a lot of things. But anyway, I bought a shed. I haven't got it moved yet. It was a homemade shed, and it don't have those skids under it. He just built it on concrete blocks, and I bought it from him, and we can't find anybody to move it because they won't move one without the skids under it. And there's nothing to put them under it. I just can't do it, and I can't seem to find anybody that's willing to do it. And I live in one part of the state. The house is in another part of the state in a man's yard. And my property is on up about 15 miles from where I bought it. So it only has to be taken about 15 miles away. And they say all you have to do is shimmy it up to the top of to the bottom of the cabin, the floor, and then go inside and just bolt it down to the 4x6s. Anyway, it's a 10 by 18, and as soon as I get that moved out there, it's going to be for storage for a while. And then when I get all my cabins set up like I want them, the things in each one that I want in each one, then what's left, I'm going to start selling out of that little cabin. And so that's where I will also start selling a lot of other things. So, I don't know how I got on that. I was talking about sugar cones. And I guess I started because that's going to be one of the items I will be selling in my store. And anyway, that's what's going on in the homestead today. And I just wanted to show you the finished product. Now, the other day when I first did it and set them out, after just a few minutes you can turn it out, but it would be real soft. And after a few days, it's not. So like I said, the longer it sets, the harder it will get. And then you can brush it off if there's any, things that maybe didn't adhere. and then just wrap it in some paper and put a drop of wax on the bottom and seal it. That's the way they would have done it centuries ago. So until next time, this is Brenda Weatherly with Homesteading the Pioneer Way, saying, learn some of these crafts and let's get homesteading. Till next time. Bye-bye.